We now know the universe began to exist. What do I mean by the universe? Space, time, and matter. We now know that the universe began to exist. So when you go to a pizza place and you meet somebody who's had a pitcher or two of beer and he says, hey, you know what, man, I think it's been here forever. Well, he's unfortunately wrong, because we now know the universe began to exist and something supernatural outside space, time, and matter had to bring the universe into existence. Now, how do we know the universe began to exist? How do we know that? It is impossible for anything to cross infinity. Nothing can cross infinity. Infinity is a large number. It's infinitely bigger than any finite number. Infinity plus a billion is infinity. Infinity minus a billion is infinity. And you can't cross infinity one at a time. Illustration. I go to heaven and God says, Moreland, I got good and bad news. The good news is you're here by the grace of my Son Jesus. The bad news is some of those messages you gave in some of those churches, they were pretty bad. So your assignment is, I want you to count the natural numbers forever. So I start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I get up to 50 quadrillion. Another guy dies, and he's given the same assignment, and he starts counting, and he's up to the number 75. And I look over at him smugly and think, boy, this poor sucker's way behind me. Until it dawns on me, he's not behind me, because we both still have the same number of numbers left to count, namely an infinite number. I have made absolutely no progress whatsoever. No matter how far you go, you're still infinitely far away from finishing. Now, if you can't go from 0 to positive infinity, you couldn't cross from minus infinity to 0. Trying to go from minus infinity to 0 is like jumping out of a bottomless, infinitely tall pit. Not only are you never going to get out, you can't even get started. It's kind of a mess. Because you have to cross infinity. Now, suppose that we freeze the present moment I'm speaking to you right now, freeze this moment and call it moment 0. This is minus 1, it's a year ago. This is minus 50 years ago. This is minus 50,000 years ago. This is minus 50 billion years ago. This is minus 50 trillion years ago. If the universe never had a beginning, how far back here does it go? Infinitely far. Is there an edge back here? No, because if there were an edge, what would that be? That would be the beginning. So that if the universe did not have a beginning, the universe goes to minus infinity. But now we got a problem. Because if the universe never had a beginning, in order to get to the moment I'm lecturing to you, the universe has to cross from minus infinity to 0 to get to this present moment, and the present moment could have never showed up. Because in order to get to the present moment, the universe would have to cross through an infinite number of earlier moments to get here, and that is impossible. The only way the present moment could have occurred in the history of the universe is if there is an edge back here, and that's the beginning of space, time, and matter, so the distance between the beginning and my lecturing is finite. The first way that we know the universe had a beginning then is if it had no beginning, the present could have never occurred in the history of the universe. Since the present is here right now, it could only have been preceded by a finite past, and there had to be a beginning.